Welcome to part 2 of my pen turning tutorial. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jörg from JBWorks Studio. So in this episode we are going to turn the Polaris twist pen kit, and the pen blank is called Milky Way. We're going to use this carbide tipped tool, and like I explained in the last video, it has the advantage that it does not need to be resharpened. All you need to do is twist the cutting edge to a new section and you can continue to turn. So we're going to use one tool for the entire pen. So making this pen, there are different sections to this, and I think there's 4 sections altogether in pen turning. One is preparing the blank. Number 2 is turning the blank on the lace. Number 3 is finishing the blank. And number 4 is assembling the pen. So we're going to go through all 4 sections in this video. Okay, this is the Polaris twist pen kit set in black titanium. And the first thing we need out of this kit is the pen tube. So I had this unpacked before. That is the pen tube right here. The other kit contents are the cartridge. And honestly, if I give this to a good friend, then I usually discard it and I replace it with a higher quality cartridge. The cartridge is retracted by this spring. Then we have the clip. And then we have the end piece that gets pressed into the pen tube like this. It holds on the clip actually, and then this gets pressed on, and then into this piece the transmission is pressed in. So this is the transmission that gets pressed into a certain distance, and then the final, though the final is the end cap, the final gets pushed onto this. So when you turn the final, the cap, when you turn the final, the cartridge goes in and out. And then this piece is the front of the pen. It's called the nib, and this is the threaded portion that gets pressed into the front of the pen, and then you can take the nib off to change your cartridge. So the first step now is to mark the length of the pen, and I'm going to just line that up and give it a little bit extra here. So kind of like right here. Doesn't need to be accurate, and give yourself a little bit of room for error. So we cut this off. So here we are at the drill press, and I have marked the center. The tube is 9.3 millimeter, and this is a 9.4 millimeter drill. And it's a special drill, it's for plastics. It has a special grind on the top. And I really can recommend that, because after you destroy 3 or 4 blanks coming through the bottom, you will have paid for this drill bit. So let me get everything set up, and then we're going to drill right through it. Okay, next we are going to mix some 5-minute epoxy. Then clean the tube with alcohol, roughen the outside up, and then put the epoxy onto the tube and inside, and place that in, and then let that cure for about 10 minutes. So the glue is set up. Pretty nice and hard already. And there's a little bit glue inside here. And I don't worry too much about it as long as I get most of it out. You can also prep the tube with a piece of wax or putty or dough. I don't do that normally. The barrel trimmer is also usually getting that back out. So that is what we're going to do next. And if you hold a stabilized piece like a corn on the cob, it can actually hurt your hand a bit. So I have gotten to the habit where I'm just taking the vise and do it this way. So all what we're looking for now is to square up the tube towards the end face, and if we have a nice shiny brass, we will stop. So next we have the pen blank that needs to be clamped in between the two centers. So this is called the live center, this is called the dead center. And in my last video I forgot what they're called. So that is the smaller one, this is the larger one. And I'm just gonna take that back, put this in like so, hold it, tighten this just a tiny bit. Clamp it. Okay, so what will happen next here is that we have to have the tool on center, and that means the cutting edge of the tool needs to be on the center line of the part, and you can do that by adjusting the heights of the tool rest by holding it just like this and aiming at the center. So most of the woodworkers that have other tools, what they will start doing is, they're not used to the carbide tip tools, they will lower the handle and they ride the bevel on the top and then until they raise the rear until it starts cutting. Now that's a habit that people have. They have traditional wood tools. It will not work as good. You can change the geometry slightly on this by raising or lowering the handle, but really the best cutting action happens when this is level to the ground and or parallel to the ground, so level, and then you go and start cutting on the biggest diameter that you will create here. Now you will see once I start this that we are starting to catch a little bit every now and then. This will be at standstill, and that's just because there's not that much friction here between the center and the bushing and the brass tube. So let's start out. So I start forming my shape that I have in my head right from the get-go. So I know this is the tip, so I want this to be smaller, and then maybe my maximum diameter here, and then making a nice round over right here. So right off the beginning, that is how I'm going to start forming it. And we can get our speed up a little bit now. So we're turning at about, I'd say that was maybe 1800, and we're probably around 2500 now. we're starting to get a little bit closer to the bushing on either side, and the piece is bare, so you can hear it. It is rattling right here. It makes a chattering noise, and here it starts to become quiet, and I can feel it of course in the tool as well. And you can see we still have a flat spot right here. Now, if you would by accident gouge that bushing right here, that's only bad for the bushing. This is a carbide tip, and it will actually cut that metal with no problem at all. It will not damage it. The damage on it will be the dulling that happens over time turning. I increase the speed yet one more time, and we also can bring the tool rest on again a little bit closer, and maybe also parallel to the shape that we are aiming for. So when we rest our hand, the hand will follow the tool rest, and that actually also makes the angle that I'm aiming for here. So I know that when I have the diameter right here around 15 to 15 and a half, that is usually a good dimension. So we're at 16. We can go another millimeter down. So I've protected here with a piece of paper because we're going to wet sand in a moment. And I don't like to use rags around here. You can break your finger even on a small lace like this by using any rags. So always use anything paper towels or something like that, even for CA finish. So I'm going to start this. This is Gold Flex. I like it because the foam backing on it, and it's 240. Normally I don't sand with 240, but I feel that we have to right here because something is going on with the pen blank in the front, and I can feel that. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to give this a nice transition here to the bushing itself, and then just once down. Okay, next is the wet sanding, and we're just going to go through those grids right here. And you want to keep the order of this, and there's also a color chart that comes with these. So I'm going to put them here aside. You can't see them, but so I have a bottle of water right here. I don't like to dunk the whole thing in, and so that we don't have water going all over the place, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to spend a bit more time on the first few of these. Because they still are abrasive enough that they build a slurry. So the first couple of these we're going to spend a bit more time on. Okay. This was through the grids all the way to 12,000, and you can see already there's a nice shine on here, and it should be, but we can make that a lot better. This is the hot ultra gloss plastic polish. So here in the instructions it says right there for lace polishing to use a cotton cloth, and I recommend that you don't do that. If you ever have the cloth wrap around the blank, it can easily break your finger or your pinky, or it can hurt you. So a paper towel won't do that, and it will come to the same result, I feel. So here I have laid out the sequence of pressing this together. So the first is this threaded portion that goes into the front. Then very easy is to forget the clip under this retainer right here for the back. Then the transmission is pushed in, and then the nib and the final comes on. And I also have a pen in gold. And you know what? Instead of using this color with it, would look like this. I think I'm going to use the gold. So I think I like the gold layout better. That's what I'm going to go with. But the problem is, this is more like a painting. It's not really a plating, versus this one here is a plating, and it's very, very durable. So don't have too high expectations on this. It almost looks like there's even a clear coat on this. So I think it's for a wear and durability standpoint, it's not going to be as high of a quality as the other one. But from the color aspect, I like it better. Or any portion that you like better on the pen. For example, here, I think this looks really beautiful. Sometimes people write and have the clip always in this position, so make it close to that. Or if you have a defect somewhere and want to hide it, position the clip there. So what I'm saying is, look around and see, maybe this here, it even goes around the clip like a little bit. I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it like this. So see where you position the clip. Don't just put it on there. Good. Okay, that looks nice. I like it. And now we need the transmission to be put in. However, I need the cartridge for that, because the transmission needs to position so that the cartridge is just having the right length to poke out the front. And okay, so we're going to test this now. It's going to take a moment here to get the right fit for this. Ah, nice. Well, that is what I was shooting for. I cannot feel that transition. Maybe on this side a tiny bit, but here I cannot. Yep, perfect. So I want to see a tiny bit of that straight section of the cartridge coming out, and that's what I consider then a good fit, good position. Now usually this just snaps on like so, and we now need to give it a final wipe down. I had a lot of fun making this pen, and I hope that you also enjoyed watching it. Now, if you have never made a pen before and you have a lathe, I hope I can inspire you to also reproduce and make a pen yourself. It's very, very rewarding, and it's a short project. You can finish it in one evening. All right, that was it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye.